The moment I realized I had been tricked, I was already sitting across from her, a candle flickering between us, the low hum of a restaurant full of strangers pressing in from all sides. My phone buzzed with a single message from my best friend, "Please don't hate me. Just hear her out." I looked up, met her eyes, and felt my chest tighten, because this wasn't just any blind date. This was the woman my best friend had loved, lost, and never truly stopped talking about. And before I could stand up and walk away, she smiled softly and said my name like it still belonged to her. I had agreed to the blind date out of pure exhaustion. Months of work, nights that blurred into mornings, and the steady loneliness that comes from pretending you're fine when you're not. My friend Amir insisted I needed to get back out there, his voice too cheerful, too rehearsed. He promised I'd thank him later. He promised it was someone kind, someone who understood complicated lives. What he didn't promise was honesty. When I walked into the restaurant and saw her, my first instinct was betrayal. My second was guilt. And my third, one I hated myself for, was curiosity. She looked different, but not in the way time usually changes people. There was a quiet strength in her posture now, a steadiness that hadn't been there before. Her hair was pulled back loosely, a few strands escaping, and when she stood to greet me, her hands trembled just slightly. "I didn't know either," she said quickly, as if reading my thoughts. "About you. About all of this." I wanted to believe her. I also wanted to leave. Instead, I sat down, because some moments demand to be lived through, no matter how uncomfortable they are. Conversation came slowly at first, like stepping onto thin ice. We talked about safe things, work, books, the city changing faster than we could keep up with. But every pause was heavy with what we weren't saying. Amir's name hovered between us like a ghost neither of us wanted to summon. When it finally slipped out, it wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, honest. She admitted the breakup had been messy, full of misunderstandings and timing that never aligned. I admitted I'd watched my best friend struggle, trying to be supportive while feeling helpless. Somewhere between shared regret and mutual understanding, the tension softened. The hardest part wasn't the past, it was the present. The realization that I enjoyed talking to her. That her laughter felt familiar in a way that scared me. When the waiter came with dessert menus, she looked at me and said, almost apologetically, "We don't have to stay." I surprised both of us by shaking my head. "We can finish this," I said. And we did. We talked until the candles burned low and the restaurant began stacking chairs around us. When we finally stood outside, the night air cool against our faces, neither of us moved to leave. She broke the silence first. "I don't want to hurt anyone," she said. "Especially him." I nodded, because that fear lived in me too. Loyalty isn't just about choosing sides, sometimes it's about choosing silence, distance, sacrifice. We agreed this would be the only night. A mistake caused by good intentions and poor planning. We hugged, an awkward, careful embrace, and went our separate ways. I told myself that was the end. I needed it to be. But life rarely respects clean endings. Over the next few weeks, she appeared in small, unexpected ways. A message asking about a book I'd mentioned. A shared joke forwarded at midnight. Each interaction felt harmless, until it didn't. I wrestled with guilt every time my phone lit up with her name. Amir noticed the change in me, the way I hesitated before answering questions, the way my smile didn't quite reach my eyes. I wanted to confess everything. I also wanted to protect him from pain that hadn't fully taken shape yet. The night everything shifted, it was raining hard enough to blur the city lights into streaks of gold and white. She asked if we could talk, really talk. I almost said no. Almost. We sat in my car, the rain drumming overhead, silence thick between us. She took a breath, steadying herself, and said, "I didn't plan on feeling this. But I do. And I need to know if I'm alone in it." My heart pounded so loudly I was sure she could hear it. Because the truth was, I wasn't innocent in this anymore. I told her about the conflict tearing me apart. About Amir, about loyalty, about the fear of becoming the villain in someone else's story. She listened without interrupting, her eyes glossy but focused. When I finished, she reached for my hand, then stopped halfway, respecting a boundary we hadn't named but both understood. "I don't want to be a secret," she said quietly. "And I don't want to repeat old mistakes." That honesty hurt more than any accusation could have. Days passed. Then weeks. I finally told Amir everything. Not all at once, not perfectly, but truthfully. The conversation was brutal. There were raised voices, long silences, and a moment where I thought our friendship might shatter beyond repair. But something unexpected happened in the aftermath. He admitted he had known this day might come, that he had sensed unresolved feelings between us even before the blind date. "I don't own either of you," he said, his voice tired but sincere. "I just needed honesty." That didn't make things easy. It made them real. When I met her again, it wasn't by accident or deception. It was a choice. We walked through a quiet park, leaves crunching underfoot, the future uncertain but open. She stopped, turned to me, and asked the question that had been waiting patiently between us since the first night. "Do you want to keep dating?" There was no pressure in her voice. Just hope, cautious and brave. I thought about everything we'd risked, everything we'd already survived. About how love isn't always born from perfect circumstances, but from imperfect people choosing honesty over fear. I nodded. Slowly. Intentionally. "Yes," I said. And in that moment, it didn't feel like betrayal or triumph. It felt like growth. What I learned from all of it is simple, but not easy. Real connections demand courage. They ask us to face uncomfortable truths, to communicate even when it hurts, and to trust that respect can survive honesty. We didn't win without scars. But we moved forward without lies. And sometimes, that's the most inspiring ending there is.